Hey everyone, I'm Journey and I am so excited for today because I have Chelsea Markel here. And we have just been having some really juicy, great conversations and figured why not record it so that maybe some of the things that are working for us can work for other people. So Chelsea, I'm so glad to have you on.
Hello, love, and hi, everybody. I feel so grateful to be here. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. I
Yeah.
know that you live so passionately about helping people and living in your authenticity, but also showing other people how they can live their best lives. So what has that been like for you, just being on this path?
Yes, yes. I know we were just talking about living our best life right now and how a lot of people around us are delaying happiness. We're delaying joy because we're saying, oh, once I lock in that deal, then I'll be happy. Once I lose 12 pounds, then I'm going to be really joyful. And the process of saying, no way, I am going to be that joy and be that happiness right now, regardless of the situation, regardless of what's going on around us. And I know that's something that you're committed to so fully, which is why you and I are so simpatico. And we're to
Absolutely.
just stand for that for other people, for them to just plant their feet and be in the present moment with an open heart and really receptive to the beauty that's available and around them in the present moment. So that's been my journey of kind of just getting into the joy of being alive now.
Yeah, and that's so powerful because you're right. I think people do wait until they think that once they have, then they'll feel that happiness. And what we find, I think, what we've been talking about is that we attract so much. People are able to attract so much more along that path when we live in that joy, like you said. Now it just attracts it in faster and it attracts it in
Yes.
bigger ways, right?
Exactly. And it's really about be, do, have. So be the person, be the joy, experience it now, be, and then do the things that make you joyful. Go and speak to people and put yourself out there and try new things. And then you're going to have exactly what you've always wanted and what you want to create. So really having it go in that direction versus saying, oh, I need to have it first to
Right.
then be happy. So I think just flipping the script and really choosing to be joy now. And I know we also spoke earlier about that comparison often
Mhm.
is the thief of joy. And that looking on social media can be a little bit tough sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. We're scrolling through our feeds and we're going, oh my God, this person just, they just had an 80K month or they just locked in 12 new clients, whatever it may be, right? And it seems really really wonderful on the outside, but we need to remember not to let ourselves compare to what other people are doing because that steals our joy. And as entrepreneurs, which I feel like a lot of people in your community are entrepreneurs, as entrepreneurs, to create something that's really fulfilling, that we
Mhm.
love, it has to be rooted in joy. That's what I've
Mhm. So
found.
true.
If it's rooted in envy or comparison or greed or like I'm going to show them, it is not fulfilling.
It's not, you're right. And it just doesn't resonate well, right? It can push people away and so things may not connect and people won't understand why. But you're right. When it comes from a true place of happiness and fulfillment and that joy, then the, it's amazing how things connect, right?
I
Just
know, right?
beautifully.
The
Yeah.
ripples out. And
Mhm.
it's interesting when you're coming from that place and you're really in a space of confidence about what you're offering and what you're bringing to the table. It's interesting how resources, the right resources, fall into place. So team members will appear
Yeah.
or finances will appear, right? Or
Opportunities just show up at the right time in
yes,
the right way.
exactly. And you don't have to push for it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of resistance.
Yeah. And then that flow just happens, right? But it doesn't just
Yeah.
happen. It's that going back to what you said, the be, do, have. And I think the do is such a strong element that gets forgotten. I think people think, like you said, either the have first or they think if I am going to be something, then I'll just have it. But it's the action, right? The putting ourselves out there and being able to make changes where they happen. And maybe, you often talk about a pivot, right? Making a pivot. If you're doing one thing and going in one direction, being okay, saying, okay, so maybe let's talk about that a little bit. What does it mean to pivot?
Yes. Wow. Well, we are pivoting every second. We're making decisions to go left or right, to have this thought or this thought. And a lot of times the way I think of it is that the first step is self-love, which is really just an awareness about something. It's, for example, I've been on the computer all day and I'm fried. So I can either go the self-love path, which is having the awareness of, I'm going to get my yoga mat, I'm going to grab a glass of rosé or tea, and I'm going to go to the beach and I'm going to read a book. Or
okay, can I just pause right there?
Yeah.
I love that
Do you love that?
I love that you put some rosé in with the self-love, because I think a lot of people think self-love means, doing my affirmations or gratitudes, which I know are important. And there's so much that, in doing that. But self-love, like you said, can be taking your favorite book and drinking some wine, or in my case, tequila. I happen to love sipping on a good tequila. Yeah, there you go. And so doing what fills you up and makes you happy. I think the word self-love is being thrown around a lot, and it can sort of create a, resistance around it. Like, oh yeah, all that fruity stuff. But hey, if it's just about, being able to be true to yourself and what you need, and if that's some popcorn and a good beverage, that's it too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that you said that. And it's really about awareness. That's how I think of self-love. You're right. There's so many people posting those pictures. I know you know what I mean, with the bathtub filled with flowers. You know that picture?
Yeah.
There's like 1,000 versions of that picture. And yes, that's beautiful. And that is self-love. And self-love moment to moment is just having an awareness of my body could really use some sunshine right now versus no, I'm going to hustle and grind it out on the computer, and just stay here, which is not self-love.
Right.
So self-love leads to confidence because then you have all this wonderful supportive energy in your body that you can use to take inspired action, which is you going and putting yourself out there, doing a Facebook Live that you've been avoiding, calling those 20 prospects, writing that email series, whatever it is. But if you're not taking the self-love / awareness, body awareness path, then you're not going to have a lot of confidence. And without confidence, our actions usually are not that powerful. They're a little bit wonky.
Yeah. It is, you're right. The wonky word, when we don't have that confidence, I think that's so powerful.
And that's the pivot. The pivot is, I'm going to get off my computer and I'm going to go bounce on my little trampoline. The pivot is, I'm going to have water right now instead of rosé because I'm dehydrated. Right?
I'm electrolytes to nourish myself. Yeah.
Yes. Or the pivot is, instead of being suffering alone or being in the space of, I need to figure it out by myself, calling a girlfriend, calling a mentor, right? Putting yourself out there and receiving support. Those are all very different examples of what a pivot means in day to day.
Yeah. And that is really powerful because I think a lot of people think of a pivot as this massive life shift. Like I have to quit my job and start something new, or I have to write that book that I've been thinking about, which is not just a small ordeal, right?
Right.
So I love that it's little tangible things that can be moment to moment. I think it makes it just more fulfilling and less scary. It doesn't have to be this huge, big life change. It can just be, like you said, that awareness of, what does my body need right now? What does my mind need right now?
Absolutely. And going back to what we said about comparison, a pivot, going on your Facebook feed, right? Picture yourself, you're scrolling through Instagram or you're scrolling through Facebook and you see somebody who's really crushing it, right? They're crushing it, at least from the outside. And you start to judge, right? And you start to judge yourself. And then you start to judge them. That's one way. Versus what you could do in that moment, you can make a small shift. You can make a small pivot and say, you know what? I'm going to celebrate this person. I'm going to celebrate their success, because the more willing and able you are to celebrate someone else's success, the more you're going to be able to experience and activate your own success. If you can't celebrate other people, you're not going to be able to celebrate yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a small pivot, going back to that comparison. Instead of comparing and judging, let's celebrate and model the things that other people are doing that are inspiring to us.
And taking what you said, modeling. So after celebrating, I always encourage people to take action in the goals that we're working on. So if I see someone that is crushing it and I have that little feeling of, oh, well, what am I doing? So celebrating them first, I think that's great. And then doing 1 or 2 or 3 things towards my goal, because there have been moments in the past where I go into paralysis of overwhelm. Well, I don't have that. I'm just going to not do anything, which is the opposite of what gets us towards our goals, right? So following by action, because what I've found is that for me personally, and I know for some other people too, is that when we're busy, focused on our goals, and we have so much going on, then we don't notice any fear or comparison or self-doubt because we're so busy moving forward that none of that matters. Does that make sense?
Oh, I love that so much. Yeah. And we're coming from that confident space where seeing someone else winning isn't going to make you insecure because you've got all this confidence because you are in a space of self-love and in that, in loving yourself so that you have confidence, and that when you see other people that are doing great things, you are confident that you can do that too. And that's, it's an amazing feeling to actually live that.
Yeah. And speaking of living it, I think some of it is creating healthy habits and routines, right? So certain things that we know that keep us on track. And I know I feel the most on purpose when I am following my morning routine or just daily things that, keep me focused on the things that are important to me, which is my health, my relationships, my goals of my projects I'm working on, my friendships, my family. What are some of your morning routines or things that you just make sure to do every day?
Thank you. Yes, the morning routine, it's such an anchor for having an amazing day. So you and I share that belief.
Yeah.
The first thing I do is the I Love My Life practice, which you
already love that. Yes.
You know it. So the first thing you do is wake up. Literally wake up, and then spiritually, right from the heart, wake up and be there. And then the next thing is to put your feet on the floor and declare these words: I love my life. And I say it 3 times. Sometimes I'll put my hands on my heart. Sometimes I'll jump up and down. Sometimes I'll be really expressed.
How about a morning dance party?
Yes. And I've actually been practicing doing it really slowly.
Yeah.
Because I think just really taking the time to steep in those words and not just go, I love my life. Okay, now on to brush my teeth.
Yeah, it becomes autopilot to do good things, right?
Exactly. So just slowing down. That's the first thing I do. And then the next thing I do is spend 10 minutes in gratitude. So I will either out loud or in a journal or just with my eyes closed thinking to myself, declare all the things that I'm grateful for that are right now, that have already happened, and then all the things that I want to manifest and bring those things into the present. So also giving thanks for the things that I'm intending. So I'm so grateful for my luscious skin. I'm so grateful for my eyesight. I'm so grateful for my Tempur-Pedic pillow, whatever it is. 10 minutes of gratitude. So waking up in the I love my life space and then really honing it in, like pulling in all that amazing gratitude energy to start the day.
Oh,
that's how I do it, girl.
That's so good. And, sometimes I know some people can sort of fluff off the personal development thing, and they might think that starting with something like that would not maybe resonate with them. It has to be something that I feel like resonates with each person. And when I actually do those types of routines in the morning, it literally changes my day. And I can roll my eyes all I want at myself and say, oh, here I go, my gratitudes again.
Right, so fluffy.
Yeah, I'm glad I have 10 fingers. But when I actually take it seriously, like you were saying, my day is different. And I like how you said there's the waking up and then there's the waking up with, spiritually. And it's like, I choose to be awake now. I choose to take on this day. And because I'm not a morning person, I'm just going to be honest. That is not
to the coffee machine.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like grumble, grumble, grouch, grouch. I have a Himalayan salt lamp that I've started using, and that gently wakes me up. Otherwise, Ian says that I'm like a morning dragon, which is
Oh my God, I love that. Well,
yeah.
and some of my friends, I've heard people say that their morning ritual is as simple as laughing within the first 10 minutes of their
Oh,
day.
that's cool.
Right? So simple. Other friends are, I'm going to make myself a turmeric ginger latte. And that's the self-care. I mean, it can be anything,
Yeah.
just as long as you're fully there and you're
Yeah.
enjoying something.
And that it wakes us up from the inside, right? So that, because I think like so many people go, and I've been guilty of it before, is going on autopilot and just one day is the next and forgetting to be very present and focused. So I love these different ideas because it allows us to use, and maybe one day we use one thing, maybe another day, maybe one day I'll put on relaxing music to start me off in the day. Another days I'm having a full-on dance party.
Yes.
Pumped up music. And I think that the right answer is the answer that works for you, right? For each
Exactly. Yeah, I love what you just said. It's about really creating variance for ourselves in our day-to-day life. So we're not just kind of living at a 5 forever. We're like, I'm up here. Okay, today, up, down, here I am. And we're actually experiencing what it means to be alive. And yes, some mornings you're at a 10. You jump out of bed. And maybe some mornings you're at a 6, but we can all smile. We can all find something to laugh about, right? On those mornings. So I'm so with you.
Yeah, and even if someone's a 4, it's having something like those morning routines that pull us into action or on purpose, even if we don't feel like it, right? It's like the zombie getting forced back into life. And even just focusing on posture, I find that even if I don't feel happy and I change my posture, it forces me into a better mood. It can sound cheesy, but it actually works. There's science now that shows it, right?
That is amazing. Yeah, these are the rituals for resilience. The more resilient we are, the more able we are to do all the things that we want to do and create all the things, right? And as entrepreneurs, literally build from a blank canvas. So without those resilience rituals, we're kind of left to will and grinding it out, which I know a lot of people also know that's not the best way, right? If we really care about our health and our relationships and just our overall well-being.
Yeah.
So,
I want to know from everyone else. So I'd love to, I know we're both curious. Let's hear some comments. If you have any morning rituals or things that you do every day, post them below so that we can get ideas from you, because we're always learning and growing, right, Chelsea? We're always looking for different ways to pivot. So what are some ways that have worked for all of you? A morning routine, something you do every day, non-negotiable, maybe something that gets you out of a funk, that helps you get into alignment, or a pivot, a shift that you've been able to make. Let's hear it. Comment below.
Yeah, we would love that. And also comment below and share what resonated from this little conversation that we had. How do you build your confidence? Where do you go in your mind or out in the physical world to really gain resilience and to create that fresh confidence that you need? So comment below. We're so excited to hear from you, and we'll answer every single comment because this is what we're passionate about. And our intention today was really just to open up our conversation so that other people can be involved. So what a blessing.
Yeah, and so fun. Thanks everyone for listening to this conversation, but it is just the beginning of one. So let this be the start of it. And we look forward to your answers. Chelsea, I always love chatting with you. This was so fun.
I love chatting with you. You are amazing.
So are you. So more to come, I'm sure. And let this be the beginning of more.
Absolutely. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.